But a lot of people have been fighting on Twitter, and this is like an accurate video of what that actually looks like to me.
This dude's gonna get hit. Wow, the rapid fire fingers.
That's exactly what it looks like. Everybody's always arguing on there, and it's just like you guys are online and nobody takes you seriously. But we've been talking about we're going to be talking about like a lot of things going on with like Russia, China, Ukraine, America. But I haven't heard anybody talking about North Korea. I mean, why leave those guys out? I got a video of what's going on over there, and it's quite devastating. Take a look. They're a serious threat, guys. Don't take them lightly. Unfortunately, that soldier has never been seen again. Unfortunately, but good on him. Good on him. All right, now let's get into some more serious.
That was funny.
It was funny. I enjoyed it. But let's get in. I saw this, and like a lot of people were kind of speculating on what it is. I'm go ahead and play it real quick, and then we can talk about it.
Hey TikTok, just a quick update. It's Saturday, I believe, and here's the truck I've been driving for the last few days for Wilson Logistics. This trailer just was assigned to us from Kraft over at the Kraft Foods plant, and we're delivering it here to what's called the Springfield Underground. And that is, as you can see behind me, this giant cave that's big enough to house hundreds of these trucks and trailers. There's a train track running through here. Just to give you an idea, back here, there's a regular sized truck. See how tall that is up there? It's just incredible. Anyway, having a great time, learning lots. Talk to you soon.
Learning lots.
Yeah, I saw that. I thought that was pretty crazy. Apparently, we have about around 30 or more of those around the United States, and it's just like these underground storage facilities where they keep like cheese and other stuff because like underground and like gets cold and can keep things cold.
They're stockpiling food.
Yeah,
years ago, there was
they're
speculation that they actually had
food.
tunnels like throughout the U.S. leading to all these. Like, this isn't the first time that I've seen something about that. It's, and I think it should be a little more prominent because I feel like, our government is stocking up for something they know is coming or that they're creating.
Well, for a more accurate review of it, it's not a government-owned facility. It's actually like a family-operated business that they've been doing this stuff since, like, I believe the 70s. These things have been around since the 70s, but it is kind of cool. I mean, to think about. I need to find out where.
That is cool, but that's awful big for an independent family-owned thing. I'm just saying. I mean, that thing was massive, and being able to house hundreds of those trucks, hundreds of semis. Just think about that, man. That's a lot, man. That's a lot.
I just need to find out where they're located. That way, when.
And if we're having such a food shortage right now. If we're having such a food shortage right now, then why isn't some of this food being distributed?
Well, I would say like if it is like a private-owned business, I wouldn't want the government forcing them to give their stuff over.
If it's privately owned,
I feel like
I think every family.
Hey, if you want to jump on, I can send you a link.
At least a month's supply of food. I think every family should have a month's supply of food in store in their home in case of if something happens right now with the climate that we're in, that way every family is safe. I truly believe that they should have at least a month's worth of food um, in case something happens, a stockpile. I don't think that's at all unreasonable.
Right. Keep on giving us your comments. And make sure you smash that like button. If you guys are in there and you guys are watching this, wherever you're at, smash that like button. Don't just click it, smash it. So, what is that? Let's go on over here. The Abrahamic Family House. Now, that was a little video that they sent out for this, and let's go ahead and I'm going to read a little bit of what it is, and then we can talk about it. So, about the Abrahamic Family House. The Abrahamic Family House will be a beacon of mutual understanding, harmonious coexistence, and peace among people of faith and goodwill. It consists of a mosque, church, synagogue, and educational center that to be built on the Sayadit Island, the culture heart of Abu Dhabi in the United Arab Emirates. Through its design, it captures its values shared between Judaism, Christianity, and Islam, and serves as a powerful platform for inspiring and nurturing understanding and acceptance between people of goodwill. The vision for the Abrahamic Family House originated after the signing of the document on human fraternity by Pope Francis and Grand Imam Ahmed Al-Tayeb in February 2019. This landmark will be a place of learning, dialogue, and worship, open to all and a true reflection of the UAE's belief in tolerance and hospitality. Within each of these houses of worship, visitors will have the opportunity to learn about religious services, listen to Holy Scripture, and experience sacred rituals. A fourth space, not affiliated with any specific religion, will be an educational center where all people can come together as a single community devoted to mutual understanding and peace. The Abrahamic Family House will host a variety of programming and events, from daily religious services to international summits. Currently under construction, the project's anticipated completion date is in 2023. Hey, what year is it? And will be one of the several undertakings of the Higher Committee of Human Fraternity will advise upon. So, yeah, I believe this. I saw some other videos. I think that this is completed or near completion. I did see some videos of like people like actually like going into these buildings and like doing tours of them. This website here is like their official website for humanfraternity.org, which the whole fraternity thing is kind of weird because if you know anything about like Freemasons and everything that they do, they call their stuff like fraternities and all that stuff. So I don't know if there's like a
fraternal orders and
yeah. But here's another little video.
Yeah. All right. Okay. All right. Okay.
But yeah. Just like a little 3D video of kind of like what it is. Yeah, just these 3 square buildings with like different like line designs on them. Let's go over here. I got kind of what the inside looks like. I gotta say, I don't like the architecture on it. I think it's very boring. Like everything today within architecture is just pretty much just squares and lines. Yeah, there's that.
What do you think about this, Charlie?
I have a few opinions.
I'll let you share first.
I'm not a very faithful man, and I feel like I don't really follow anything. I guess you'd call me an atheist, maybe an agnostic, because I believe there are higher powers. I just don't believe they're gods. I think this is just another way to try and control people, and now they're trying to do it on a more global scale instead of independent societies. And from what I've gathered from these faiths, they have similar, here and there, similar scriptures, and you know, the Muslim do talk about like Jesus and shit like that, but I never seen this coming. All three of them like building a place together. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, because the Pope has been big on like kind of like bringing together Christianity and Islam, and it's like it's completely different. It's not even.
They are completely different, even though people try and say that they're all, you know, similar. I mean, really, in my feelings and an opinion of the situation, I believe that all people on this earth worship the same deity, just in different ways. It's translated different ways throughout their outlook, because everything is about perception when it comes to that. People read these scriptures and everything else, and they perceive it in their way and shoot off into, you know, a religion. And then it's just like Christianity. How many different denominations of Christianity is there now? You know, so it's like people start following this one whole religion, and then they're like, you know, I like most of this stuff, but I don't like some of these things, so I'm going to go over here and start a new denomination, which better suits my beliefs and what I believe in, you know. And yeah, I just think I've always thought that religion was just a contradictory tool, I guess, to control people. You know, what better way to control people than to instill the fear of some ultimate eternal damnation, you know? This makes me want to get sick right here.
Well, it's okay because the federal government said that Ohio is safe and everybody can go back. And I have a picture of one of the residents confirming that it is, in fact, safe. Let's go ahead. It's safe in Ohio now.
Slog. Baby Ruth.
Chunk.
I saw that and I had to. It's hilarious. But
Ruth. Baby Ruth.
Let me see what this is.
I love that movie.
Oh, people were wondering how, because at first the federal government said that they weren't going to send any support for East Palestine. They said that they didn't fall under the whatever requirements that was needed for federal aid. But now they are getting it, and I have a picture to tell people how they pulled that off. So, we want help. We need water in Ohio. Huh? And then they put a Ukraine flag over it. Of course I'll come and help you.
That's what disturbs me the most, man. We denied service to a blatantly obvious destruction of a town, you know, a pollution of a town. And yet here we are sending $180 million over to Ukraine to help their starving and poor.
But I mean, I think it might be more going on between Mr. President Poopy Pants and the totally legitimate President Zelensky over there. I think there's something else going on between them, because we have this picture here and it's oddly enlightening.
Wow.
Come on now. Why are you going to do that in public, Mr. President? It's not right. With your wife there and everything.
Is that real?
No. It's funny. It's funny, though. I'm going to say that it's real just because, yeah. I'll be a purveyor of fake news there for a second and misinformation. I'll let it happen because that's just funny.
Myth busted.
Tell me it's wrong. But yeah, let's go ahead and see what Rolling Stones has to say about all this. So Trump bashes Biden, then jets to McDonald's during the East Palestine visit. So anybody that's been paying attention to the things.
Wait a minute. Is that Biden right there next to?
No. Talk about this guy.
Yeah.
There is an odd similarity right there. I think he would probably be offended by that. I don't know who he is.
I think the only difference is that he's a little shorter and he's maybe 10 years younger.
But if you guys
probably make a better president too. Sorry, go ahead.
But if you guys pay attention to, like, I think Rolling Stone is somebody who comes out with some interesting articles, and they definitely have a bias, and we're going to see that in this article here. So the former president spoke for around 10 minutes and didn't take questions at the town's fire station. Does he need to as a private citizen right now? So East Palestine, Ohio. Donald Trump traveled to East Palestine, Ohio on Wednesday to try to make political hay out of the February 3rd train derailment that released hazardous toxins into the town on the state border with Pennsylvania. The former president spoke for around 10 minutes to a hand-selected group of Trump-friendly journalists assembled at the town's fire station. He claimed, as he's been doing...
Did they really go individually to each person and find out if each person was a...
I don't know. They're probably just saying that because, like, anywhere that Biden goes, you know, he usually gets some middle fingers and some vulgar language sent to him, and wherever Trump goes, you know, people like him, and they're like, hey, we're glad to see you. So
because Biden's a fucking idiot and Trump does shit.
So he claimed, as he's been doing since last week, that he's responsible for any federal aid on its way to East Palestine, while alleging the Biden administration doesn't care about the town's trouble. They were intending to do absolutely nothing for you, Trump said.
Allegedly.
Trump didn't just take credit for the incoming federal aid. He likened his trip to a phone call he says he placed to the head of the Big Ten to insist college football resume during the pandemic. I said, you got to get this football open, Trump recalled. We got that open very early. I did it. I did that very personally. I called the commissioner. And I mean, he did, because, you know, there was like a lot of people during the pandemic that didn't want to open back up and didn't want to continue what they were doing because they were all scared. And Trump was scared. Like, no. People want their football.
This is a hazmat, an OSHA problem as well. I mean, this was a company that was transporting something. Technically, that's like a factory floor that spilled out onto the street. I mean, this is a corporation that has to take care of this problem. It's not just the government's problem. This is a company that has to clean up a situation. If this company goes bankrupt taking care of this town, that's the company's fault. It shouldn't. Our government shouldn't have to bail out a train because they had an accident. That train should have to bail out that town.
You're misunderstanding, Rick. We're not talking about bailing out the trains company. We're talking about bailing out the people that have been contaminated, their drinking supply, their soil supply. That's a FEMA situation.
Okay, but that's part of America's problem. We always run to the government to want to get answers. It should be the corporation's problem.
Here, let me give you.
It was their issue.
Well, let me give you my.
If I get hurt at work, I can't sit around and wait for the government to take care of me. No, my employer takes care of me. It's the same situation.
Yeah, but you getting hurt isn't gonna be detrimental to the people around you. Okay. Because of what you did to get yourself hurt.
Hey. Let me give you a bit of why I'm bringing this up. Like, honestly, I agree more with you. Like, I don't really give a crap about the government and what they're doing. But if we look at this current administration, what has been like one of their like biggest agendas is this whole climate thing. And like, if this hazardous event that is causing this big old climate disaster that is happening in Ohio, why hasn't this been a top priority for them, for this administration, who is more on the lines of sending government aid and all this stuff? I do think it's kind of odd. Now, yes, the train company that had this incident occurred, whether it's from, now you can link it to like several different things, like if policies that have been put in place that like just didn't like keep up to date with like safety regulations to keep these trains on the track. I mean, still that falls to somebody, and like the company did, I think it was like a few $1 million that they settled in court to help the town out. But I mean, it just seems like hypocrisy from this administration that they didn't like come out forth and like say, oh, we're gonna help this company. Like I would like I don't like federal aid, and I definitely don't want to see the federal government like bailing out companies. But it's hypocritical when they send all of our money over to these European countries and then don't do anything to help out over here.
See,
I'm not
that's my
for
thing.
sending
It's
money
not,
to Ukraine. I am not for sending money to Ukraine. I don't think we should be doing that.
No.
I think the money would be better spent in Ohio.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, we're just, as Americans, we're so prone that when something happens, now if it's a natural disaster, sure, that's where the government steps in.
Mm-hmm.
But we really have to change our thinking when it comes to disaster, especially if it comes from a corporation. We have to hold those corporations responsible because it was their accident.
And I'm not saying we shouldn't hold them responsible, but there is an entire town right now that is completely contaminated with this polluting. We've got to do something to help the people.
It's a tragedy.
I mean, at least like some help. I mean, if they are going to have like money already set aside for like a disaster relief, then I mean, do it.
Yeah, because this is a major disaster.
Now, if we have to get more into it, I do think that taxation is theft, and I would like none of my money to go to the government. But that's a topic for another time. Let's go ahead and talk about the Nord Stream pipeline that was sabotaged. Here, let me. I got a speech from Mr. Putin that I want to go through and listen. It is in Russian, so I am going to kind of like pause it here and there for audio listeners, since we probably don't have any Russian audio listeners yet. I haven't seen any on the map of where it shows me people are listening from. I mean, if you are in Russia and you want to listen to us, go for it. But yeah. So I'm going to kind of read the subtitles on this, or try to. So, here. And here they are. Here they lie constantly. Perverts, historical facts. Perverts, historical facts do not stop attacks on our culture. The Russian Orthodox Church and other traditional religious organizations of our country. See what they do with their own peoples, the destruction of the family, cultural, and national identity. Perversion, mockery of children, and pedophilia are declared the norm of their life, and priests are forced to bless same-sex marriages. God with them, let them do what they want. What do I want to say here? Adults have the right to live as they want, and we have always thought this in Russia, and we always will. No one will invade private life. We are not going to do this. But I want to tell them, look at the Holy Scriptures, the main books of all other world religions. Everything is said there, including that the family is the union of a man and a woman.
Now everybody's clapping.
People are clapping. But these sacred texts are now in doubt. As it became known, the Anglican Church, for example, plans to consider the idea of a gender-neutral God. What can we say? Forgive us, Lord, they know not what they do. Millions of people in the West understand that they are leading to a real spiritual disaster. The elites directly, I must say, go crazy, and it seems that they can no longer be treated. But these are their plans, as I said, and we must protect our children. Oh, these are their problems. And we will do this, protect our children from degradation and degeneration. Degenerate behavior. I'm going to say it like that.
You filthy degenerates.
But that's what he said. I tend to agree with him on a lot of things. I'm not a fan.
I do too.
I'm not a fan of Putin.
Me
and
neither.
I don't know if he is like I don't know if he is genuine in what he says. But one thing I was telling Charlie earlier this week that even if Putin is lying about how he feels about all this stuff, I mean, just really
When did he make that speech?
What?
When did he make that speech?
That was
last week.
Yeah, last week. I think he did that the same time as Putin was speaking over in Ukraine.
You mean Biden?
Yeah, Biden.
Just Putin everywhere, huh?
Just Putin. Putin, if you hear this,
so
please
he
don't
was
come after
talking
me.
about the U.S. He wasn't talking about Ukraine.
Well, he's talking about the West in general.
Yeah.
Gross. Okay, now you're going too far. We don't need the imagery, Charlie. Just say you don't like it. We can stick with that.
Well,
but
if
no,
you put
like
the imagery out, more people
sure.
will be like, "Ew."
Yeah, that's gross. But no, what I was trying to say though, I said this earlier to Charlie. Like, even if Putin is lying about what he's saying and all this stuff, and he's not like a genuine Christian and all that stuff, if he doesn't really hold these beliefs, what I see on it is at least like this is like the image that he is trying to portray to his citizens and stuff like that. Like, he's trying to present himself as a moral, decent person. And when we look at like people over here in our country and what they're portraying, I mean.
Now, I got a question. I don't know how many studies we've really looked at, but how much of the world population is on board with the whole transgenderism and stuff like that? And then what percentage of that is in the States?
Well, I don't know any exact numbers on that.
I
would say that like a lot of like the Western world leaders and like a lot of the WEF, like they're definitely in on this. A lot of the corporate leaders are in on it. They're trying to push this. They're trying to say we want inclusion and diversity, and they want all of that. They want to make the people feel like, you know, we're not going to judge you unless of course, you don't agree with what we're saying, and then you're a hateful bigot who needs to be dragged out in the streets.
I don't give a shit about your opinions. You listen to my opinions, and you'll follow my opinions.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so President Putin is confronted with something today that he didn't think was possible a year ago. He continued, "The democracies of the world have grown stronger, not weaker, but the autocrats of the world have grown weaker and not stronger. Because in the moments of great upheaval and uncertainty," there's no way he said all of that clearly. "Knowing what you stand for is most important, and knowing who stands with you makes all the difference."
Is he over there doing push-ups too, or?
I think he did challenge a little disabled boy to push-ups. That's about his only competition.
I don't even think if that man got down on the ground to do a push-up, he would ever get up again.
Well, you remember
Secret
the
Service
video
would have to get up and pick him up.
You remember when he fell off the bicycle, right?
No. What?
You never saw that?
That's awesome.
I'm going to have to show you that. I don't have the video pulled up, and I'm not going to look for it. But he fell off a bike. He stopped, and then he just went to the side. Okay, he doubts our staying power. He doubts our continued support for Ukraine. He doubts whether NATO can remain unified. But there should be no doubt our support for Ukraine will not waver, he said. NATO will not be divided, and we will not tire, he added. President Putin's craven lust for land and power will fail, and the Ukrainian people's love for their country will prevail. Democracies in the world will stand guard for freedom today, tomorrow, and forever. For that's what's at stake here, freedom. Okay, so that sounds more of like how he would talk. That's what's at stake here, freedom. I would hate to be the person that has to sit there typing out everything that he says. Blah, blah, blah. True to not a shot of pressure.
It's scripted, so it's pre-written.
And he still can't.
I I would hate to be the person sitting there watching him frappe what I wrote for him to say.
There was something that I wanted to say in here.
Like, damn, dude, I didn't even use big words on this one. Can't even get the out.
So Biden's speech came hours after Russian President Vladimir Putin addressed Russia's parliament, announcing the country would stop participating in the New START nuclear arms treaty with the U.S., the last remaining major arms control agreement between the two countries. Putin said that Russia is not withdrawing from the treaty for now, but is suspending it, saying the war in Ukraine means it is not possible to allow American inspectors to visit Russia's nuclear sites as agreed under the treaty.
That's scary, isn't it?
Yeah, we're going to get into that, but I did think that was definitely something to say. No, just this whole situation, I don't like it. Okay, here. Biden made a surprise visit to Kiev on Monday, marking the first time an American president entered a war zone with no active U.S. military present, where he saw firsthand some of the devastation caused by Russia's invasion of Ukraine. Of course, they don't show any pictures of any of that devastation, but...
Nope.
Oh.
And he ain't got nothing to worry about anyways, because they're in business with each other. Why would he need an armada?
Look at that
to go
guy
with
right
him?
there. What is he doing? That is just an odd looking... what's going on there? But
that's actually a gun that he's turned on himself, and he's ready to end it because
that's
he's tired
kind
of
of like
bullshit.
what I was getting from that. Like, it looks like he's about to draw it on himself, and I'm just like, Bud, Biden will be gone soon. Like, don't worry. But Biden told Ukraine's President Volodymyr Zelensky that the U.S. would support Ukraine for as long as it takes.
I wonder if you said his name 3 times if he'd appear.
I don't want to try it.
Don't, please. I'm scared.
I would rather call for Bloody Mary or Beetlejuice.
Beetlejuice.
Don't
One
do
more
it.
time.
Beetlejuice.
Oh, shit, here he comes.
Okay, so yeah, 1 year later, Kiev stands and Ukraine stands. Democracy stands, because that's what all of our wars have been about, is like anything that we get involved in. It's about, promoting democracy, because that's what everybody wants around the world, is democracy. Democracy is gay.
We're talking about the 6th trumpet war coming here, and that's what this war is leading up to. There's 2 things in here, the red and the blue and yellow, that give this away, and the 2 million troops. Now, I could be wrong. Don't take my word for it. The best thing to do is have a relationship with the Lord God Almighty. Let him tell you. Don't take my word for it. He still speaks to his creation. But yeah, this is gonna ramp up. We're not gonna back down. Putin and China's not gonna back down. Both sides are gonna be in this until the very end. And
this is what scares me about Russia. I don't think anybody on this planet, honestly, aside from a lunatic, would want to actually fire nukes. But the thing that scares me about Russians, and even Germans for that fact too, them people are diehard when it comes to what they believe in, and they will. That's the scary part, is they don't want to, but they fucking will. If you leave me no choice, I'll bomb your ass. I don't care if it means the destruction of me. You're dead too, basically. That's, it's kind of like the whole kamikaze flyers from Japan and shit. It's the same mentality, really. Did
I have anything more? Because we did kind of get like way off topic of what we were talking
that's
about.
why we're interesting here on Couple of Hoosiers.
True that. Rabbit hole.
Rabbit hole.
But I don't know. I mean, at the end of the day, like, I see all this stuff happening, and whether or not this is the end of the world, what we're seeing, if it is the eschaton, as some would say, I don't know. I think just keep a watchful eye. Do as much as you can to prepare. I've said this before on this show that, like, I really hate it when people like come after like people like, because we've seen this in media, like, ad nauseum is like the way that they talk about like preppers and they're just crazy conspiracy theorists. And I mean, no, they're just
There is
prepared.
nothing ever wrong with being prepared for the
No.
worst.
Especially like when the same people that are saying like these things are like, oh, the world's coming to an end, climate disasters, lands being flooded, and rising sea levels that haven't happened in the last 100 years.
Those would be the people hiding in the bunkers with Kraft.
True. And then they're going to be screwed if
whether it be
the
the
waters
entire
do rise.
annihilation of humans, whether it be the entire annihilation of humans or not, I do believe that there will be some survivors, but they're going to be few and far between, and it's going to be archaic.
Like the biggest message that I want to put out is that even if things are looking grim like this, I don't think like it should like get us like completely black pilled to the point like we feel like there's nothing that we can do. I mean, even if like nuclear war does happen, I mean, at least hope for the chance that like, you know, you could come out and you could survive, and whatever is destroyed we can rebuild, because that's what we've done through all of mankind and all of society, is we have always been able to come back and rebuild. And I look at it like this, like we do have like all this stuff, all this bad, morally corrupt things being pushed in society today. So I mean, if something does happen, let it burn to the ground and
clean slate.
we rise
Maybe
like the
you're right.
beautiful phoenix. Couple of Hoosiers podcasts. You can find us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, CastBox, pretty much anywhere that you get your podcast. We do a live stream show, usually on Odysee, sometimes on YouTube, and then we upload to Rumble and BitChute. But if you want to get everything all in one place, go to cohpodcast.substack.com. I write blogs for all the episodes, plus some other blogs that I find interesting when I have topics to talk about. I write about them. But also we have a Facebook page. You can find me on Twitter at r_winghoosier, and pretty much any other social media. You can find me there. I will say, if you guys want to keep up to date, either go subscribe to the Substack that I have, the COH podcast Substack. I keep people updated on what's going to be happening there, but